Hello and welcome to another episode of Tan Pants.
We have a really exciting episode for you guys today. We hope you are ready.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
This is probably the most exciting episode that you will ever hear from any podcast anywhere ever.
So stay tuned and listen.
Like you don't have to stay tuned very long at all. Like as soon as I'm done talking, like the show will begin. Max, you said some cool things last week. You mentioned a man.
Yes, I mentioned a particular man named Bicycle Mike.
Yeah, so we have history with this person. Like I know who he is, but our listeners probably don't.
So here's the origin story of Bicycle Mike. This is a bit weird, so get ready. I was helping out a friend one day.
Yeah. This was during the day.
This was during the day.
It was light outside. No vampires were about.
That's right. Broad daylight. We're painting his house. It's me and my brother. We're down there. We're painting away, minding our own business. I guess, you kind of get in the groove when you're painting and you're not really paying attention to too much of your surroundings. So it kind of caught me off guard when I heard this big, loud, hey, hey. That's what it sounded like to me at the moment. But in reality, it was like, hey, hey.
Maybe the guy, because if I want to project, I go way down.
I go down.
Maybe he went down too to project.
Maybe so, because when he started talking, well, okay, so I turn around and I greet this passer goer, and
That's the name of my next thriller, The Passer Goer.
that's right. And I immediately recognize the fact that he is out of the ordinary. How do you say it? Not abnormally tall.
Okay.
And heavy set.
Oh, big boy.
He was a big guy. He had just a little mustache.
Okay.
Over his upper lip.
A respectable mustache?
It was respectable.
Okay.
But with the way he was, it came off creeper. So I'm a little hesitant in greeting him and, carrying on the conversation for any longer than it has to go. He sees us painting and immediately he thinks, oh, these guys know everything about building.
Well, if I see painters, I assume they're geniuses because you only get geniuses to paint.
Yeah, have you seen Da Vinci?
Yeah, that guy was smart. He invented paper. He invented rock climbing. That guy was smart.
Yeah. So, so this guy, he sees us and he says, hey, I would really like it if you guys could help me out with a certain situation that I'm in. I'm trying to use his voice, of course.
Is that what he said? A certain situation?
I don't remember exactly what he said, but he basically said his house is just a block away from where we were, and it had some mold or some like rust or like a decay issue on his siding.
Painters, they can paint over the mold and rust.
Exactly. So he's like, I would like it if you guys would come over and look at it and tell me what you think, and maybe, I'd like to hire you. And I was like, yeah, maybe I might swing by later today. I mean, we're pretty busy right now.
Josh was with you at the time, right?
Josh was with me at the time. My
good old
brother.
Josh. I'm so glad Josh is always here with us.
That's right. Which I guess we should mention.
No. Josh is always here with us.
Right. Yeah, he is. He's a faithful guy.
He's in our hearts.
He's dead. I'm just kidding. Anyways, so I tell the guy, I'm like, hey, buddy, we're pretty busy right now, but I mean, if we have some time later, maybe I'll swing by and I'll look at it and give you a quote or whatever. And he's like, okay, sounds good. And he walks away, and as he's walking, he's kind of dragging his feet. And I notice this man is wearing socks with like really cheap looking sliders. They're not quite flip-flops. They just have that Velcro lip over the top, the foot sliders.
I had a pair of those.
Did you like them?
I loved them.
They were cool back in the day.
Yeah.
Not anymore, though.
He must have thought he was cool.
They had an expiration date, though.
Yeah. Anyway, so this guy just continues walking to who knows where, and we're like, oh, that was a little strange. So Josh was like, maybe he's a nice guy, because Josh and I started talking about it after this guy left, and
Josh's like, sure.
Oh, I forgot to mention I think I actually have his number, his cell phone number.
You still have his number?
I think I still have it. Because he gave me his cell phone number and he says, my name's Mike. I was like, oh, nice to meet you, Mike.
This might be a horrible idea if we call him now on the podcast and get him on the podcast.
No.
And just get him to talk about his bikes.
Well, let me just continue on with the story and then we can decide. You can use your judgment if you want to call him or not. Anyways, Josh and I are talking about it after Mike leaves. And I was like, Josh, that was weird. This guy is giving me bad vibes. And Josh is like, dude, he probably just has like some issues on his house and he just wants us to fix it. And I was like, yeah, I guess so. And it was like, and if it's an easy fix, he's going to pay. He said he's going to hire us, right? I was like, yeah. And I was like, it won't hurt to just go look at it, right? And Josh was like, yeah. So I was like, oh, okay. But let's finish up painting for today. So we're painting.
You mean you were going to drop everything and walk over there?
No. Oh, no. We get done painting for the day. The sun's kind of going down. It's about that time. Like, it was kind of in the month of November, so it was a bit cold. So I was a bit concerned that the cold would affect the paint or whatever. So I was like, we need to end early today. So
right.
And then Josh reminded me, oh, wait, you were going to go look at Mike's house, right? I was like, oh, that's right.
Oh, man, I was trying to forget that.
Yeah. So I said, Josh, you stay here and just wash our tools. And just to be smart, if I don't come back, I was like, of course nothing's going to happen.
If I'm not back in 3 days, call the police.
If I'm not back in about an hour.
What? An hour?
1 hour. If I'm not back in an hour,
I'd
call
say
the cops.
15 minutes if you don't hear from me.
No, yeah. So I hop in the truck and I drive down to where he said his house was. And it's like, you go down this road, you turn down this road, and then there's like this little alleyway. And I was like, oh, please don't be up there. And I'm looking at the house numbers and I was like, yep, it's up there. So I turn down this little alleyway and I start going up and I drive by his house and I'm like, no, it's a shack.
He lives in the shack?
It's a literal shack. And immediately looking at it, you're like, the roof is held together by tires. The siding is literally just rotted through. His front door is a fence gate strapped to a door, strapped to a screen door, strapped to a couple of tires.
What?
Yes, it was like just thrown like garbage on his front door.
Did it look like he had heat and air?
I think I saw a window unit.
Huh.
And I was like, no. I need to leave right now. And then Mike comes out of his house and he says, hey, over here. And I was like, oh. And my inner conscience is just like, Max, just leave. Just drive away.
You've come this far.
Josh's words flow into my head. Maybe he's a nice guy. So I was like, fine, I'll see. I leave. I think I left the truck running and I put it in park and I get out and immediately, I'm face to face with this big giant who looked like he just woke up from a nap. His hair is like just messed up and his glasses on his face are like kind of like not on all the way.
Right.
And his mustache is kind of like folded to one side.
Oh, his poor mustache.
Mm-hmm. He looked like he just got up from a nap, like deep sleep. And the thing that caught me the most, his socks were upside down on his feet.
Now, it takes effort to put socks on upside down.
Like, the little heel part?
Mm-hmm.
It was on top of his foot. I kid you not. It was on top. And nothing else, just those socks upside down. It was like, how messed up you got to be to wear your socks
like
upside down?
Both feet?
Both feet. Consistent.
Maybe, here's what it was. His socks were dirty. He's like, you know what?
I'm going to wear
flip
the top.
them around.
Maybe he's a genius.
Good for another day.
Well, so he shows me the area of his house that's destroyed. And I look at it, and I look at him, and I said, Mike, I'm not going to touch this house. I said, I can't fix it. You need to talk to your landlord. There's nothing I can do to improve this house other than just pull it down with a chain and restart. I didn't quite say that part, but he was like, what? You're not even going to touch it? You won't even... I put so much stucco on it, and it's keeping out the water, but, it's just all falling apart. Anyways, I was like, Mike, and at this point, I'm kind of like walking back to the vehicle. I'm like, Mike, I'm not going to touch this house. And he's like, oh, well, shoot. I was like, why don't you talk? Do you own this house? He's like, no, I'm renting. I was like, talk to your landlord.
He's renting that?
Yeah. I was like, what? He's renting that.
What's his rent?
I didn't ask, and I didn't have to. He's like, no, she doesn't do anything. Not my problem, buddy. So as I'm walking away towards my truck, he says, do you have a bicycle? I was like, no. Do you know of anybody that has a bicycle? I was like,
He asked you if you know anyone who has a bicycle.
I said, no.
You don't know,
No.
Max, hang on. You don't know anyone who has a bicycle?
At this point, I'm just trying to get to the car. I'm not exactly trying to engage in conversation. But he says, I have a hobby. I collect bikes. And I look at his front porch, and he was not lying. He collected a lot of bikes, and there was a lot of bikes and bike parts and bike pieces and bicycles hanging from the ceiling.
So Mike did bikes.
Mike fixes bikes. So he
Okay.
said, if you know of anybody that needs a bike fix, give him my number. I was like, yeah, sure.
Of course.
Then I'm like, yeah, sure, man.
Maybe
if anybody needs a
Maxwell,
repair on a bike that I know of.
Back to Da Vinci inventing sea salt.
Right.
I bet he was an eccentric as well. I bet he also lived in a weird place, weird shack, and he was a genius.
Sure.
How do you know a bicycle Mike isn't a bicycle genius?
I don't care.
Eventually, someone's going to discover him. He's going to make the best bike in the world, but he'll self-destruct. He'll be really sad. And there's going to be a documentary film made about him where they make you feel so sad for Bicycle Mike, who was too genius for his own genius.
Well, good for him. I mean, that doesn't affect me in any way. So, anyways, he's like, he can kind of sense that the conversation's getting to a low, and I'm trying to walk back to my truck. So he says, "You wanna come see my bikes in my house?"
No.
He said,
no.
"Come on, I'll show you." It gets kind of creepy. He says, "Come on, I'll show you my collection."
Okay, at first I was feeling kind of sorry for him because he obviously doesn't live in a very nice place and probably he has to wear his socks upside down to save money. But I mean, if you're creepy, I'm sorry.
Just imagine, put yourself in my shoes, audience. Put yourself in my shoes. You should have not have been there in the first place,
Right.
but you are, and you're looking at a very tall, very big man who looked like he just got hit by a freight train. His hair's all messed up. His glasses are sideways. His
You are
mustache
standing before Bicycle
in
Mike.
his shadow, and he looks at you and says, "Come inside." Look at
No.
my bike collection.
No.
And I looked at Mike and I said, "Mike, I'm leaving. I am not seeing your collection. Bye." And I turn around and I walk to my truck. I open the door, I close the door, and I skirt out, dude.
Oh, man.
And as I'm driving, I look in my rearview mirror and I just see him standing there in his front yard, just like,
Oh, well. Another one goes.
And I said, "I hope I never see Mike again."
So that was about a year ago, right?
That was a year ago. And then I see him again at the laundromat.
Listen,
Oh, man.
what if it's a Mr. Beast challenge?
Oh, I don't want any
You
part of it.
you go in there, you get $100,000.
Yeah, sure.
It's Mr. Beast for a year trying to get someone to come in that house.
So that's where he kind of got the name Bicycle Mike.
You know, You know what this means?
What?
Bicycle Mike was one of our very first podcasts we recorded.
Yeah.
We didn't release it, but we recorded it as we were figuring out how to do this.
Yeah.
That means we've been podcasting for a year.
Yeah, give or take.
Yay.
This is our Bicycle Mike-iversary.
That's right.
Every year, we will celebrate Bicycle Mike-iversary.
Now, the moral of the story, I mean, you've got to learn from other people's mistakes.
Yeah.
And I made a big mistake. I talked to strangers, particularly a weird stranger, and I
They
should have
tell you not to.
I should have trusted my gut. It's okay to discriminate a little bit. You got to trust your gut on some things.
You have to be safe. Protect yourself.
Max 2020, it's okay to discriminate.
He said a little bit.
It is.
Yeah.
Because if I would have, I should have.
You
I should have
need
never
to-
talk to Mike.
You need to trust vibes.
Yes,
If you get a weird vibe from someone, do not give them the benefit of the doubt.
and it's just safer
Yeah.
to ignore and move on with your life.
You don't have to talk to the person. You don't have to be nice.
yeah,
You just know you're not engaging in this, and you
Exactly.
walk away.
so that's a healthy thing.
Just say no.
That's right. So that's a healthy thing. Do not do what I did. I was very fortunate that
Wait.
nothing happened. I get back to the house we were painting at, and to get Josh, and Josh he's washing the paintbrushes and the tools and stuff like that. And the
And
sun's
Josh was Bicycle Mike.
Oh, the whole time.
the sun's about going down now. It's still light out, but it's starting to get a little bit dark,
Yeah.
And Josh is like, "Hey, how was Mike?" I said, "Josh, if you ever see Mike again, just run." It was a weird time. I'm gonna go use the bathroom.
Okay.
All right.
As Max goes to the bathroom, now is the time to hear from our sponsor.
Yeah.
Da, 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 da.
Sponsor.
Today's
Boy.
episode is brought to you by.
Boy, our sponsor sure has a good product. Boy, doesn't that sponsorship work great?
Yeah, and our sponsor is brought to us by.
Sponsor. Man, does that sponsor.
Sponsor sponsors everything. And sponsors will even sponsor you on your special day. Go to sponsor.com/sponsor.
Use our
And-
code sponsor.sponsor.
Enter the sponsor code, and you too can receive one free sponsor. A free sponsor voucher is available for purchase in bulk if you want a lot of sponsor.
And the first 100 people get half off.
Be sure to follow sponsor and let them know that Tan Pants sent you.
/sponsor is a real site.
Yes. Audience, we accidentally plugged a real thing called Sponsor. www.sponsor.com/sponsor is a real thing that offers sponsors, just like we said. So give them a visit. And I don't know, this is probably just a scam, but maybe it's a fun scam. The best scams are the one that you have fun being scammed. Magicians work that way, and Burger King.
Wow. That sure was a sticky situation you were in. You know what else is a sticky situation?
Maple syrup,
No.
earwax.
Applesauce.
You're actually really close, though. But I was going to say the high price of oil.
Oh, I thought,
Very
it
sticky.
was going to be something sticky.
That sounds
And
sticky.
so with that,
Next week, I'm talking about slime.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
with that, the U.S. is going to reach into their strategic oil reserves
Oh, come on.
to flood the market to lower the prices back down. But they're not the only ones reaching into strategic reserves. Canada is reaching into their strategic maple syrup reserves.
What?
Hey.
Are
You're
you
telling
serious?
me the
I'm
Canadians once upon a time got together like, guys, I love maple syrup.
This isn't-
Everyone at the table like, oh,
Oh,
yeah,
I
we
love
do. We
syrup.
love that. Should we have a special reserve in case we run out? Yeah, let's do that.
This isn't like a Babylon Bee. This is real.
This is real life.
All right. I'm in.
Right. So
The secret Canadian reserve.
it's from the Federation of Quebec Maple Syrup Producers.
Someone got together, all the maple syrup people, like, let's form a federation of maple syrup producers.
Fake name.
I like that. That's a good idea. Yeah, all 5 of us.
It is a government-backed organization that regulates production, pricing, and marketing of maple syrup in Quebec and beyond.
So this is like they have a mafia
Oh, yeah.
on maple syrup.
There's
There's no free market for maple syrup, you're saying?
Yep. Some have called them a cartel. Others, the OPEC of maple syrup.
That's awful.
Yeah.
why?
I don't know.
I have strong opinions about this.
Yep. They produce 94% of Canadian maple syrup and 77% of the world's maple syrup. And
Wow.
they account for 60% of Canadian exports to the U.S.
But what do you use maple syrup for other than pancakes?
Oh, dude. Everything.
Eggs. Waffles.
Fried eggs.
French toast. Certain drink mixes, I imagine.
That sounds gross.
Well, this year, it was a hot spring, so the production is not at the highest that it's ever been.
Oh, you're saying that it was a hot spring.
Yeah.
I thought you said there was a hot spring, like a random hot spring appeared somewhere
what
in
I thought,
Canada.
Yep, that too, totally. But the demand for maple syrup is also up this year by 21%.
Yeah, people want maple syrup after, feeling crappy for a year and a half.
And so because of this, there's been such a high demand, they are releasing 50 million pounds of maple syrup.
Into the ocean.
We will make fish taste like maple syrup. This will work. This is the next stage of evolution. Fish will now be good.
That is only half of their supply, though. They have another 50 million
Oh, my goodness.
or 22.6 metric tons.
I want to know where the maple syrup reserve is because it's a giant tank.
I want to live in there.
It's in an old missile silo just full of maple syrup.
There are more than one. See, they have it stored in various locations across the rural areas of Quebec for safety.
It's
For safety.
Yes. But it's not always safe.
Because maple syrup comes from maple trees.
Yeah.
And trees, as we all know, are connected. They can talk to each other. I'll talk about this one week, how trees talk to each other. Yeah. And if all the maple syrup is in one spot, all the collective consciousness will gain awareness and turn against the maple syrup mafia because they know maple syrup belongs to the people, okay? It's a free market. We got to put maple syrup production in the hands of every man.
All right. So they have to do this because there are people who want. Yes. Because in 2012, thieves were reported to have stolen over 3,000 tons of syrup.
hey,
And these people were in the right because they're fighting the maple syrup mafia.
hey, that's a great idea. So if everybody's worried about like meth and like illegal drugs, just make syrup illegal and like make it a mafia thing, and then it's cool to steal, and then they'll just be obsessed with syrup.
Yeah,
instead.
so they only have so much attention they can give to something. Just put that on maple syrup instead
and
of
then
drugs.
just be like, hey, you guys know all that legal drugs? Pfft, lame.
Maple syrup is where it's at, man.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
You know how much I can get for a bottle?
That's right.
Doesn't get you high, though.
Yeah. Oh, it does.
First, you have to smoke it. You have to turn it to a vapor and then absorb it into your eyes.
Hey, when I was a kid, I got there.
But that was worth $18.5 million. That's
Oh, my goodness.
a lot of money.
That is a lot of money in syrup.
It's known as the Great Canadian Maple Syrup Heist. It is the largest heist in Canadian history.
Has there been a movie about this yet?
There is a documentary.
No, a movie. I want a movie. I want a movie starring who's the Bill Murray. I want Bill Murray as like the mafia leader of the maple syrup people.
Yeah.
I want
Robert Redford.
Robert Redford
Yep.
as the small town farmer.
Yep.
I want
He can only ever be a farmer.
I want Will Ferrell as the assistant to the farmer,
That's right. I want Michael Jackson.
and that's it.
Yep.
Just those three. No other characters. Just those three characters
This
in a boardroom discussing the theft for 2 hours.
also, it didn't mention it, but I looked it up, and this will be the 19th largest heist in history.
I mean, where's the movie?
Yeah.
The 19th largest heist in history involved maple syrup.
Yep.
This thing writes itself. I'll watch the maple syrup stealing movie.
Oh,
Call,
yeah, dude.
I mean, the guy who just did Dune, Denis Villeneuve. Call that guy. He needs to do the maple syrup heist movie.
Yeah,
Call Christopher Nolan. He's got to do the maple syrup heist movie. Steven Spielberg.
I mean, I'd pay like $15 for a ticket to see that.
Especially if it was like good.
Right.
Yeah. Imagine just Dune, but syrup.
You think we're going for spice, huh? Hey.
He who controls the syrup controls the universe.
I don't even like pancakes.
Yeah.
All right. But for those who are interested, just as a side note, the number one heist in history was committed by Saddam Hussein.
Ooh.
He stole $1.4 billion from the banks in Iraq during the Iraq War.
Oh, it couldn't have been that hard.
Yeah, he was the leader of the country. So he just took the money he was going to run, and America stopped him.
I think if you're gauging a heist, you need to take into account the difficulty of the heist.
Oh, yeah.
If it was an easy heist, even though if you made more money than anyone else,
Well,
it still doesn't rank as high.
Well, I mean, yes, easy and difficult and fun strategy, but I mean, the substance is what makes it.
Yeah.
If you got something as interesting as maple syrup, to my opinion, that's the best heist in the world.
I could just imagine the Ocean's 11
Exactly.
like planning session with the bongos.
Yeah.
But the heist, they did it by siphoning 12.5% of maple syrup out of the barrels stored in the reserve.
How?
They just, I don't know.
They just did it, man. Siphoned.
They siphoned it.
They just sucked it out of a tube. That stuff
Yes.
is pretty thick.
Hey, Johnny, did you bring the straws, eh? Oh, yeah, I got the straws right here, dude.
Right.
Oh, you hoser.
All right.
Did
So
you
they,
bring any plastic bags?
so they sold it to people who didn't know that it was stolen.
Okay.
Because if a guy's selling you maple syrup, you're just going to be like,
You're not going to ask questions.
yeah, it's just
It's
syrup.
like,
Who
where's
cares?
this from?
I
Canada?
mean, these people are heroes. They're like Robin Hood.
This resulted in the arrest of 18 people.
Oh.
Wow, there's a lot of people involved.
Yeah, with 7 more on the run as of December.
On the run!
Yeah, man.
As of December 20th, 2012. I didn't bother looking deeper.
That, Maxwell, I'm sorry. I'm going to give up podcasting. I'm going to devote the rest of my life to making this film. Because this is going to be the best freaking film we've ever seen.
But just
Yeah.
know, the ringleader in 2017, Richard Valierez was sentenced to 8 years in jail and a $9.4 million fine, or an extra 6 years if he can't pay the fine. And
not
his
that bad.
accomplice, his main accomplice, Avik Karan, was sentenced to 5 years plus a $1.2 million fine.
That's a big fine.
Crime doesn't pay, kids.
I think they made a profit if you count the fines, though.
They made a
I know,
they
I
made
was
a
about
good
to say.
profit.
I was about to say extra 6 years if you can't pay it.
Like, you're under arrest for stealing and selling all the syrup, but can we keep the money? Sure, I guess.
Sure.
You worked hard to earn it, I guess. Welcome once again to the third ever Tan Pans Trivia Show. Who's ready to play? Who wants to have a budget that has 2 digits in it? I'm your host, Isaac Anderson. We have our contestants, Max and Clay. Maxwell
Yeah.
for 2 points. In Revenge of the Sith, who battled Palpatine and was injured by Anakin?
Mace Windu.
No. Oh, it was Mace Windu.
Yes, in your face.
You didn't even know.
I was thinking Count Dooku.
Come on.
That Count Dooku was also injured by Anakin fighting
Dude,
with Palpatine.
Don't you remember the scene? He was laying in the window.
Who battled? Okay.
Count Dooku.
Oh,
More
man.
like Count Doodoo.
I guess I lost 2 points.
There you go.
Clay.
Do I get 4 points for that then?
Yeah, you get 4 points.
Yes.
Clay for 17 points. No, for 2 points. Who invaded South Korea in 1950 to begin the Korean War?
I'm gonna guess. It could have been a lot of people. Have you ever seen those Botswanans? They always like Korea.
They'll eat your dog.
Dude, that's mean.
Nah.
They will shoot and eat your dog.
And then you got the Swedish.
They will not eat your dog.
They'll eat all your meatballs.
They will. They'll probably also give you aid after they're done conquering you.
Yeah. No. They'll just laugh at you.
In Sweden.
Yeah. All right. So North Korea.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, North Korea invaded South Korea. Yeah. Okay, Joshua. Oh wait, I'm gonna skip you, Josh, because you don't look like you know anything. Maxwell.
Man, poor Josh.
Poor Josh.
It's his own fault.
What number is tattooed on 11's left forearm in the show Stranger Things?
11.
That's correct. 11.
Yes. I'm 2 for 2. In your face.
Okay, let's see here.
And I didn't even watch the movie or show.
Clay. What kind of plant stem is soft and green?
Like, you want the word?
I want the word.
This is hard. Does it start with an S?
No.
Does it start with a T?
No.
How about an A or a B or a C or a D or an E?
It starts with a letter of the alphabet, in the English alphabet.
Man, he gets hints too.
Flimsy. I don't know.
It is herbaceous.
Herbaceous.
That
Herbaceous.
was my next guess.
Yeah, that was my second guess right there. In fact, that was my first guess. I second guessed myself and went with flimsy.
I don't like any of these other questions.
Hit me with it.
Okay, are you ready?
Yeah.
The tagline.
Wait, you didn't say my name.
Okay, sorry. Maxwell
Yes.
for 1 point.
Yeah.
The tagline Atlantis is waiting comes from which 2001 movie?
This is waiting. 2001 movie?
The tagline comes from which 2001 movie?
2001. There was a lot of movies in 2001, weren't there?
There were at least 7 of them.
It wasn't Kung Fu Panda. I know that.
No.
Was it Atlantis?
Is that the name of the movie?
Wait, hang on. Atlantis is waiting. I'm trying to picture a poster. Atlantis. Atlantis is waiting. I don't think that's it. I'm going to go with Georgia.
The movie Georgia.
Atlantis.
Georgia. Atlantis is waiting. No. The answer to the tagline Atlantis is waiting, that went with the movie Atlantis. The Lost Empire.
Are you serious?
Well, it was called Atlantis, the Lost Empire.
Yeah, I was thinking that. I just couldn't remember the name. I'm like, The Road to El Dorado? No. Treasure Planet? No. What's the other one? The other one.
Okay, so I'm going to jump to a different...
Wait, was that the one with the mole
Yeah.
doctor?
You've disturbed the dirt.
That movie?
Yeah.
I was thinking of that movie.
Isn't that a great movie?
Yeah, that's a great one.
So I'm going to jump to a different category here. Do you want to do business, physics, or rap music?
Let's do business.
Okay, we're going to go business. Clay,
Business.
for 10 points. In what state can you find the headquarters for Hobby Lobby?
It feels like a Southern company to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting Southern feelings. So I'm thinking either Alabama or Texas or Florida. But I'm also getting like a hint of Ohio.
Are you detecting a little Ohio there in that little... There's a little Ohio aftertaste. Is that potato I taste? Is that Ohio?
I feel like I know. I feel like I've heard someone say like, "Just stay here, it's Hobby Lobby. We're proud." So I'm just gonna say Alabama.
Wrong. The answer is Oklahoma.
Oh man.
See, Oklahoma. That's it.
Oklahoma.
That was like my 5th or 6th guess.
Maxwell,
Yes.
for 10 points.
Yeah.
What company slogan is just slightly ahead of our time?
What's that one company with the cables?
Cabletown?
No.
Rise Broadband.
No. Oh, Radio Shack.
You use Radio
I
Shack?
hope it's Radio Shack because they're no longer in business, right?
No.
Just slightly ahead of our time. Radio
Wrong,
Shack.
wrong. The answer is Panasonic.
Oh.
Clay, for your final question. What company was originally named Blue Ribbon Sports?
Hibbits.
Wrong. The answer is Nike.
Nike.
What?
Nike. Max, for your final question.
Okay.
What car company advertised drivers wanted?
Advertised drivers wanted. A car company.
Yes, in their advertisements, their slogan.
Yep. In their advertisements, they said, "Drivers wanted. Apply inside now."
Please.
I'm just going to guess like Chevy.
The answer is Volkswagen.
What? Come on.
Thank you once again for playing Who Wants to Have a Budget That Has 2 Digits in It? I have been your host, Isaac Anderson. Goodbye. Wow, you guys did really well on that quiz. I especially liked how Max got some of the answers right.
That's a change.
That was good. That was good,
Yes.
man.
I am smarter than a 5th grader.
But are you smarter than a rat?
I would like to think I'm smarter than a rat. Yes.
I am smarter than a rat, but not quite as smart as a really, really smart rat.
So, remember when I was talking about that rat baiting sport in New York City?
Yeah, you like
Where
to
people
talk-
were biting the heads off of rats?
You like to
Yeah.
talk about rats.
Yeah, man. Rats are interesting. So, there was a dude. His name is Victor Tooth.
Tooth?
Tooth.
Tooth?
Toth, but the O has a little above it.
Tooth.
Tooth.
Victor Tooth.
So he's like, you know what? People train rats to do all kinds of things.
Yeah.
People train rats how to drive cars. People train rats how to not die for poison.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to teach rats to play video games.
Teach rats to play video games.
Yep.
Why is this important?
Well, he successfully trained them to do this. So he had a modified VR setup where the rats didn't have little goggles on. They were just in front of a really, really wide screen that circled around them kind of. And they were on a rubber ball.
All right.
And that ball was on a track that could spin. Kind of like one of those track balls, old-timey,
yeah.
Used to have for computers.
Yeah, it's at grandma's house.
Yeah. And they were like on this little hoist, so they were like on the trackball. They couldn't move off the trackball, but they could move the trackball with their feet, walk around,
Okay.
And they had this little feeder in front of them. So when they did something right, they reward them with some sweet water.
Oh, nice.
So guess what game this guy decided to teach the rats?
Smash Bros. Please say Smash Bros.
No, he taught the rats how to play the hit shooter Doom.
Doom.
What?
Doom is a game where you are a dude who accidentally goes to hell or something and has to shoot all the bad devils.
Nice. I like it.
So he's like, I'm going to take these rats, teach them how to shoot devils.
Well, I guess if every rat knew how to shoot devils, the world would be a better place.
We would have less devils if the rats were shooting the devils. But
That's fact. That's fact. You can check us.
he didn't have enough time in his experiment to teach them how to shoot things. So he just taught them how to navigate the mazes in Doom.
Well, that's
So the rats could walk through corridors, make the right turns. They would remember mazes to get to the end and get the reward. They could avoid enemies, but he wasn't able to teach the rats how to actually shoot.
well,
he
that's
was
not
gonna-
impressive at all. Then.
Well, he ran out of funding.
Well, nobody wants to fund rats playing video
Well,
games.
the guy in charge was like, wait, you're training the rats to run around a 3D environment and shoot people. Yes, but they're demons. And he thinks, back in the day, we used to bite the heads off of rats.
Yeah.
What if the future is all these rats chasing us in 3D environments and shooting us?
And then they make us. Then they bite our heads off.
Yeah.
Could you imagine the future? We're always worried about AI and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like all the movies, like Terminator and stuff.
Yeah.
But what if it's really just like rats?
And it's not even
control of AI.
It's not even rats being like malevolent. It's just rats who've been trained to do this program, and they do it very well.
Because we're like, hey, what else can we teach rats to? How about fire nuclear weapons?
Yeah, that's a great idea.
The rat's like, I'm gonna get so much cheese out of this deal.
Exactly.
So yeah, he was going to train the rats to shoot by having them lift their arms in the air like wee. And whenever they did that, they would fire their weapon.
All right.
But like I said before, he wasn't able to get to that stage. The funding got pulled.
Poor guy.
But he was able to train 3 rats how to play Doom.
Do you have a link to his GoFundMe?
Yes, if you want to fund the training for the rats,
At _ pants. Tan pants.
yeah, tell them Tan Pants sent you.
No, don't tell him that.
The rats were 8-week-old Long Evans. So apparently there's a rat called a Long Evan.
I would like a short Evan. We only have long.
Evan, what are you gonna call this species you found? I don't know. Evans. They're kind of long though. Call them Long Evans. So he trained all these Long Evans, and he named them after the protagonists in Doom. So they're called Carmack, Romero, and Tom. He said Romero was fearless and loved grapes. Carmack was a real architect, building around his home and keeping it tidy. He was fond of bananas. Tom began shy, but held the most surprises in learning performance.
Sounds like a video game in itself.
He said, I had fun building a rodent VR rig and training the rats to kind of play Doom. He feels this is just the foundation for a future where Twitch is dominated by animals playing Doom. Would a pig be better than a rat? Could you get the pig and the rat in a death match? These are big questions for science and must be answered.
Listen, I'm just imagining one day, like a decade from now, a whole bunch of rats just take the Capitol and they carry him. He's like, yes.
Yeah. It worked. My plan.
But only if you give them sugar water.
Well, that's not that hard.
They'll do anything for sugar water.
I mean, that's really easy.
So yeah, so if you guys ever feel like you're bored, find yourself a rat, spend $5,000 on a custom VR rig, and teach him how to kill demons.
Yeah.
That'll be handy later in the apocalypse. The news with Josh Anderson.
The news.
Wow, yes, thank you. It's me, Joshua, here with the news. Georgia politician stands by giant topiary chicken. They got him ousted as mayor.
I don't know how to reply to that.
The chicken, which will house a bed and breakfast, has cost the city $291,000.
$291,000.
Jim Puckett put all of his eggs in one basket when he started building what he hopes to be the tallest topiary in the world. But his dream tourist attraction cost him his job as mayor. And now the steel framework of a giant chicken looms over the Fitzgerald, Georgia area. Earlier this month, Puckett experienced a crushing defeat at the ballot box when he ran for re-election. The topiary chicken, which has so far cost his office $291,000, has been a well-known campaign issue.
I'm completely lost. I don't know what's going on.
So this mayor guy, he's like, we need to put our town on the map. How can we do that? I don't know. Maybe like better malls. Maybe like a giant topiary chicken that inside of it is a bed and breakfast.
No. Listen. The guy was saying that like, oh yeah, maybe better things, infrastructure. And then a random shaman comes out of the fog. Big chicken. And then he walks back into the fog.
The biggest.
So this one reporter. Now, this reporter doing this interview is kind of a mean reporter. They're kind of wording things kind of snotty. So the reporter asked, Mayor Puckett, the voters have spoken. Do you have any regrets about your giant chicken? He says, no, ma'am. None whatsoever. My giant chicken has done exactly what I wanted it to do. And that's promote the city of Fitzgerald.
That's right.
Isaac, you have to say it snotty, the reporter.
Okay. Mayor Puckett, the voters have spoken. Why do you have any regrets for your giant chicken? Your giant chicken.
Yes.
Then the reporter asks, so he said, he's happy that it's here to promote Fitzgerald. The reporter asks, well, how has it done that? You spent nearly $300,000 US and you just got defeated. You got trumped in the election campaign. Why is this a success for you? Then he says, we've got a great little town and a great little story here, but I need a hook, and this chicken has garnered us worldwide recognition. Voters obviously don't see the importance of that, but they knew going in. One of the very few things I promised them. One of the very few things I promised them.
Very few things. I don't promise much, but when I do,
I promise a giant chicken.
Like he's like, okay, listen. I promise to come into work on Tuesdays, brush my teeth, I won't steal your candy, and big chicken. That's my campaign platform.
So this is what he said. One of the very few things I promised them was you may not like everything that I do, but you're never going to say I sat around and didn't do anything.
because I put a chicken.
The reporter says, okay, but this giant topiary chicken never got completed. I mean, it has no greenery on it. In February, hopefully, when they put the greenery on it, it's going to end up being the world's largest topiary chicken.
And that's a fact.
And it's got an Airbnb in it, so you'll be able to rent it out.
Oh, my goodness.
But all of this is speculation now, because this will be up to the next administration on how they finish the chicken.
Wait, so it's not done yet?
No, it's not done yet.
Wait,
I wanna
where
go.
is it, you said?
It's in Georgia. It's in, where is it? Fitzgerald. It's the city of Fitzgerald, Georgia.
Let's go.
We should.
We'll finish it for him.
So
I believe in you, Mayor.
So he says the next administration will, how they finish it will be up to them. And the reporter says, what you got is a giant rebar silhouette of a chicken, right? And he says,
A giant rebar.
he says, yeah, we got a camera up live for about a year and a half now, so the people around the world can see it being constructed.
Listen, Max,
Yeah.
on your 10-year anniversary,
Go to the chicken.
go to the chicken.
No, stay in the chicken. 'Cause
Yeah,
it'll be
It's got an Airbnb, yeah.
That can be your honeymoon thing.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
In the chicken.
8-year-old girl's bedroom is named messiest in the country.
Is named messiest.
It's named
who?
messiest in
Her
the
dad?
country by the UK News.
This is
Oh.
messiest in the country. Wait, this is in England?
This is in England.
It's like got one shoe just in the floor.
A bedroom belonging to an 8-year-old girl from Glasgow has been named the messiest in the country. Parents from across the UK have been sharing shocking pictures of their children's messy bedrooms, with images showing toys and beds in total disarray and very little carpet space. Sifting through the over 100 messy bedrooms, Happy Beds has crowned Emily, 8 years old, the messiest child of 2021.
Oh, so it's a bunch of parents getting together, sending pictures of their messy children and saying, "Whose is worst? Mine is the worst."
Hey, don't worry, we're saying.
Same.
Now listen.
Same.
After a nationwide search for the UK's messiest children's bedroom by a bed retailer, Happy Beds, the winner will receive a new children's bed worth over £400.
Hey.
Oh, wow.
So the winner was Emily, 8 years old, and I'm looking at her bedroom right now. This picture is not that messy.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
It's not that bad at all.
It looks like it's mostly just toys and clothes.
It looks like the parents may have helped a little bit.
Now, I was
Yeah.
thinking like rotten, nasty stuff to where
Yeah.
you can't even get in the room.
They got like fast food that's been under the under the
Oh,
bed
yeah.
for like 2 years.
Yeah.
That's it messy.
Yeah.
Emily's dad, Steve, He said, "My daughter Emily unfortunately treats her room like more of a changing room and spends almost all of her time in the family room instead. Aren't we lucky?"
That's how I treat my room. Why is that different? Why is that weird? I change in my room, and then I spend most of my life in the living room.
Although it was a fierce competition, there were some notable runners-up. 6-year-old Emma from Poole. Her room is 10 times messier. She should have won. Look at that. You think that's messier than Emily's room up here? I mean, I judge a room by how long it will take to clean. Emily's room, right here, I can clean that in maybe 20 minutes. Down here, Emma's room, this is a 3-hour ordeal.
Who was the judge? Who was the judge?
You think that just parents dumped everything out?
I call foul.
Yeah.
Look at her, it's like, stop taking pictures of me.
Stop it. I'm just a messy.
This is great podcasting. I'm talking about these pictures I'm looking at. Look at this picture. Wow, that's so messy. Audience, imagine how messy it is. That's so bad. Thank you for listening to another episode of Tan Pants. I am so thankful you made it to this part of the podcast. Thank you to our legendary Patreon supporters, the Big Tyne, Naven Jr., and Mr. E. Thank you so much for listening. You guys have a good rest of your day.